Okay, good morning. Let's go. Let's talk about energy. So I talk a lot about energy, and I talk about a lot about my own personal experiences in life because I understand that is the best way for me to be able to kind of resonate with my clients. And my mission is to inspire women to move and know that they can move, but to inspire women to move from a space of, feeling like they're struggling in life into this space of feeling real freedom, peace, true fulfillment in life, and just feeling this like rock solid self-belief, really. And the reason I am doing that is because I'm just on a mission to help women in the same way that I was helped through my own healing journey. And I talk a lot about energy because that was one of the main things that I needed to work on myself. So I'm going to talk to you, I'll do about 20 minutes or so today, and by all means drop me any comments as we go through if you want to, or private message me afterwards if you would like to as well. But I'm going to talk to you today about energy and why it's so important that we initially start with self-care. So let's start with how you're potentially feeling at the moment. So you're potentially feeling, burnt out, exhausted. You may be feeling like something has to give because you don't entirely know, how to manage everything that you're needing to do. Particularly at the moment, if you feel like you're kind of being mum, being career woman, being business owner, whatever it is that's going on for you, life just feels like it's, drowning you a little bit almost. It's that kind of real sort of desperation for change and something to change, and you may well be feeling like you're not entirely sure how to create that change as well. So this is why sharing my story is really key for me to help my clients, to help ladies, to help inspire people, and to also do that education piece, run that education piece for people that I didn't know, this kind of you don't know what you don't know, but the education piece around there is help out there. You do not have to struggle with things in life. Okay, I got to the point in my life where I was just thinking, seriously, is this all there is to it? I was probably sort of a late 20s when everything really came to a head, and it was just that space of, seriously, this is too hard. There has to be an answer. There have to be some ways that I can work around this, or and actually it was even better than that. I could release the issues that I was experiencing rather than just live with them or manage them or cope with them. So this is my whole point about speaking out, about doing my lives, my podcast that are hopefully coming out soon. Well, will be coming out at the end of the month, so that I can get these messages across. So where shall we start? So yeah, as I said, you may already be in a space where you're feeling this sort of stuck, desperation, burnt out, exhausted, don't know what the answer is. And let me tell you that I was absolutely there. So, I'm going to share with you what I've learnt through my journey, so that, hopefully I can give you some tips to start straight away. I can give you some answers to if you feel like, things are really blocked at the moment in life for you. And also I'm going to introduce human design to you. You may know something about it already, but if you don't, oh my word, it was such a powerful learning for me. So I just want to bring that to people's attention, awareness, so that you can go and have a look at it yourself, or by all means come and talk to me. I am actually wondering whether to run some free energy audits for ladies, which we'll probably do in terms of, I'll ask you to fill out a couple of things before we speak, but then perhaps do a free 20-minute phone call where we can just chat through what's happening for you. So if that's of interest, by all means, give me a shout. because I think that's, you know, that's probably the best way to highlight for everybody individually. There'll be sort of 10 spaces available if I do that, but it will be the best way to kind of highlight what's happening for each person in terms of, you know, blockages, but then also immediate tips that you can use to help yourself. Okay, so I'm jumping around a little bit, but let's go back to, you know, being in that space of feeling like you just haven't got enough time in the day. Okay, you're exhausted, life is a struggle just to get through every day. Okay, absolutely the space I was in, so I completely get it. Now, there are probably three things that I specifically want to talk to you about today, but one of the main things that I learned was to create more time in our days, and I'll tell you how we do that in a minute, is actually by building in me time, self-care, rest. Okay, and I can already hear people saying, I haven't got time for this, I haven't got time, I haven't got enough time in the day, I haven't got time to take out, you know, time for me, time for self-care. The only way you are going to find more time in your life is by slowing everything down. Okay, trust me on this one, keep listening and I'll explain it a bit. So the only way you're going to find more time is by slowing things down, and the reason we need to do that is because our bodies, our minds cannot run at a million miles an hour like our, you know, current society demands of us. So, you know, our current jobs, our the fact that we're on social media so much, you know, all of these things, all of it is just flooding our bodies with stress chemicals. Okay, and we are not designed, our bodies basically haven't sort of in terms of, you know, how it deals with stress, have not progressed from, you know, cave people days basically. So if we think back to those kind of times, we would have bursts of stress. You know, you might very well be chased by a lion, a tiger or something. You'd have that burst of stress, your body would go into stress response to deal with that situation, but then everything would calm down. Okay, everything would go back to normal and you'd be able to rest. What now happens in our world now is we still experience the same rush of stress hormones, you know, that same stress response, fight, flight, but we don't tend to then have those periods of rest. So it's a case of, you know, our bodies are responding in the same way they did, you know, many moons ago, but not having that rest. So what's happening then is your body is just flooded with stress hormones, and that causes so many problems, you know, within your body if you cannot take that time to just rest. And what I'm talking about in terms of rest is literally starting with 15 minutes a day. Okay, now if you're still thinking, oh, I haven't got 15 minutes free each day, then you are absolutely the person that needs to take this time. Okay, you have to become more efficient in yourselves, to be able to kind of flow through life as opposed to kind of fighting life. You are going to need to put those brakes on. It's a bit like, you know, running a car constantly, accelerator down, you're running the car, and you're never actually putting the brake on, you're never actually stopping, and you're expecting it to keep on going when, you know, you haven't filled up with petrol and you haven't taken a break to do so. So when we think about self-care, you know, think about the things that you enjoy doing. So the whole point is about injecting fun. Hi Amy. Oh, thank you. Yes, do watch on replay, that would be great. I will speak to you soon. I've lost my train of thought there, sorry, hang on 1 second. Yeah, so self-care is all about, you know, choosing something that's fun. I don't want you to be trying to do something, having to think, oh God, I've got to take 15 minutes, I've got to try and do something to relax, put a bit of thought into what you enjoy. If that's a bit of a struggle, go back to, what you used to enjoy as a child. So, whether that's, or the key to it is it needs to be screen free and it needs to be alone time. But, did you used to enjoy colouring in, drawing? Some people literally will just sit and stare at a wall, For me, I inject a lot of kind of self-care and managing my energy into every day, and I'll talk to you a bit about that more so. But what I want you ladies to realise at the moment is the importance of, just taking 15 minutes, if that's all the time that you do have. So have a think about what works for you. The things that work for me particularly are meditating, journaling, reading, taking a bath, listening to an audible book in the bath. That's wonderful. I love doing that. I tend to do that in the evening. But and actually, if you can inject this self-care routine into your morning, what you're doing then is almost topping up your battery before you're starting the day as well. So, how often do we wake up and think, oh my God, exhausted before we've even started the day? I don't tend to wake up like that anymore these days, I have to say. But what I will do is do my self-care routine. It's a morning routine. I call it a morning routine. But I will run my morning routine every single morning religiously, and I absolutely love it. So that I can top up my battery before, I start the day, basically. So you're topping up that car with petrol and oil before you're starting the day. And then, as you go through the day, you can build in other elements of self-care, as you go through. But first off, if taking 15 minutes for you, purely your time every day, if that feels like a little bit of a stretch, then just try that for now. We can work on the rest, we can build up the rest, and also you need to work out what's right for you specifically, which is where the human design stuff comes in. So self-care, have I covered all of that? So yeah, take 15 minutes, make it fun for you. Yeah, and also, if you think it might be difficult to remember, then assign yourself some time every day. You might like to set an alarm in the morning or the evening or lunchtime, whatever works during your day. But basically, this is the ability to get yourself out of burnout and exhaustion. This is the best bit, sits with you. Okay, you have the power absolutely to make it happen, but you had to choose to do so. Okay, so that responsibility really sits with you. But know that, you have the power to change this around. So I cannot tell you how amazingly different my world is now, 14 years on from when I first started my healing journey. I felt completely broken, and that is exactly why I've written my program Surviving to Thriving, because I felt like I was broken, stuck, just really close to the edge. I didn't entirely know, what the next step was going to be, and blew up my, relationship, walked away from that, and just, yeah, life was pretty shit. It was pretty awful. And, now I am in this space of, and I'm so damn grateful for it. I'm in this space, and it's, makes me emotional thinking about it almost, but what it does. I'm in this space of having, the life that I truly love living, and I understand, about my own energy and how to help myself now. That was the problem. I didn't know how to help myself, which is the key to all of my work. That's what I'm helping ladies to do, to understand how to help themselves to get from that space of surviving to thriving, that space of, you know, that life of more that, you know, I certainly hoped was out there. And whatever that means to you, you know, it may mean financial freedom, it may mean a, you know, super successful business, it may purely mean feeling at peace in your head, you know, feeling free in your head, feeling free of any trauma that you may have experienced. So we've covered self-care. Let's have a think now about limiting beliefs. Okay, so if we have subconscious limiting beliefs, okay, we don't know they're there because they're in our subconscious. We may know they're there, but, you know, we won't necessarily know that they're there, but they're almost like a drain on our inner battery. So I guess how we identify if we've got limiting beliefs, if you have symptoms in your life, it will generally be because your conscious mind and your subconscious are out of alignment. So you're subconsciously, automatically behaving, feeling, doing something, thinking something in a way that you consciously don't like, okay? And that creates the symptom. So, you know, think about anxiety, think about depression, insomnia, that was a big one for me, fear, you know, hypervigilance, whatever it may be. So if you have the, you know, any kind of symptoms really, but those specifically, I guess I tend to get within my work with my clients. So if you're getting those symptoms, or you're being really triggered by something, you know, so if you're, so for example, you know, if at the moment you're being really triggered by fear, or you're finding yourself getting really angry, there will be some limiting belief in there. There will be some block in there that actually you can work with. And all of the energy that we're taking running automatically, you know, this is not your fault. You've learned these things over time. But the energy we expend being, you know, in anger, being in anxiety, being in drama, you know, conflict, fear, whatever it may be, the energy that we leak when we're in that space, you know, is just, it's almost like having an app open on our phone that just drains the battery, keep having to top it up, it drains it. So if we can work with our limiting beliefs, then we can again release another layer of energy for ourselves. So this is where hypnotherapy comes in. So again, on my program, my Surviving to Thriving program, we work a lot with limiting beliefs. You know, there's a lot of clearing of limiting beliefs, and we have 5 sort of main limiting beliefs in life. So that sense of I'm not good enough, you know, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving. That's where kind of imposter syndrome comes from, procrastination, beating ourselves up. That's where we can have blocks around manifestation as well, interestingly. There's one about safety, so I'm not safe, or, you know, the world isn't a safe place for me. There's another limiting belief around control, so feeling really helpless, powerless. Another one around acceptance and belonging. So, you know, if you perhaps have had, you know, a family breakup when you're a child, you know, you can very easily learn that kind of not feeling like you belong. You know, the family's perhaps split up, and you know, you're in that space of not quite knowing which camp you belong to now, and you know, everything's just a bit confusing. And there can be, you know, there can be all sorts of things that feed into this acceptance and belonging, but it's that piece about sort of really feeling happy in your own skin or not. And then the last one is that love and relationships, you know, either equals pleasure or pain. And that is one that I personally had to really work on because, you know, my life experiences have kind of taught me that actually love and relationships generally equals pain. So actually, you know, there were a whole world of barriers that were stuck up around me with regards to that. But these limiting beliefs, if they're running in our subconscious, which they are so easy to learn as we go through life. You know, we can learn them, and there's no blame on anybody for, you know, any of these things, but we can learn them very easily through parents, you know, through schools, through religion. There's, you know, there can be a whole lovely dose of guilt that we learn as well. So that was something I meant to say actually with the self-care piece. So if you get a feeling of like overwhelming guilt around taking time out for you rather than, you know, doing something for your kids, your family, your partner, you should be doing work rather than taking time for you, you know, acknowledge that guilt because it's genuine, but also, you know that you can work with that and release that as well. It's almost yeah, okay, I see you, now you can fuck off because I'm going to take this time for me. And basically, you know, if you do not invest time in your own self-care, you will start, the only place, you know, we can go is start to creep towards that burnout, because our bodies cannot run at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And that is, you know, what society expects of us now, and also with this continual connection with people. So, you know, continual connection on social media and all those sorts of things as well. And work emails pinging, you know, you have to be completely in control and have boundaries, really clear boundaries around it as well. And again, that's another massive thing that I work with ladies on. You know, I've had to work really clearly with boundaries myself. You know, there's been a lot of guilt tripping coming my way throughout the past, and now, you know, I'm in a space where I have my boundaries in place. You know, people may still try and test them. It doesn't happen all that often, I have to say now, but they may try and test them, and then it's just, you know, very much a case of just kind of reiterating them and saying exactly, you know, who you are, what you want out of life. And that's not about being selfish or unkind. You don't have to say it unkindly, you know, it's actually the opposite. It's about being truly kind to yourself, and truly honouring yourself so that you can be the best version of you. It sounds so cheesy, I know, but it's so true. You know, you cannot be the best you if you are flat of energy, and the only person that can do anything differently with that is you. Which is, you know, amazingly, you know, it's fabulous that we have that power within us to make that much change. Okay, so limiting beliefs, if we have limiting beliefs running for us, they will drain our battery. A lot of these limiting beliefs will be happening subconsciously. The root cause will sit in the subconscious. So this is where hypnotherapy is amazing. And I've had a lot of hypnotherapy myself over the years, which is where all of my learning for my program comes from for my clients. But I needed to release a lot of limiting beliefs. So hypnotherapy is amazing at being able to identify where the root cause of that limiting belief is. And then we can go back in and actually work with that. So release any suppressed emotions around it, and, you know, reframe that limiting belief, reframe any memories that may need to be reframed around it, all of this work. And your mind is so powerful that it will do that, you know, in the best way for you. So it will just naturally know where to go to resolve the issue. This is why I love it so much. It is so powerful and it is so transformational. As a therapy, it is just incredible. I think it's just you know, just wonderful. So we've done self-care, we've done the limiting beliefs, and then another thing to that you can focus on, which is the link that I put in to the invite to this live yesterday, is to look at your human design chart. Okay, so human design, how do we explain this? This is basically our unique genetic blueprint, and it will tell you, it's almost like it's unique to you because it's based on your birth date, time and location. So before you think, oh God, astrology, whatever, you know, hippie shit, it's so super accurate, but there's, you know, there's science behind it. It as well. It's as well as the kind of astrological bit. So there's you know, there are so many bits feeding into this, but basically it tells us, it's like an operating manual, and gives us our energetic blueprint, and, you know, from a conscious and a unconscious, subconscious point of view. It is so powerful and so interesting, and I just love it. I was introduced to it this year, so I've done, you know, I've done a lot of reading, a lot of learning on it, but it's been so helpful for me because it tells you who you are sort of energetically, so you can kind of get a gauge of where you're starting out in terms of your energy levels. So for me particularly, I'm what they call a projector, which means, unlike most of the rest of the profiles, it means that I don't have an inherent energy store. Which at the time of learning that, I thought, oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. But that then helps me understand that is why, you know, I did burn out so easily. That's why I did feel so run down. And it also has, and, you know, I used to feel lazy. I used to feel like I was useless. Why couldn't I do as much work as everybody else, particularly, you know, in my own business when I was, now that I'm self-employed. But I was comparing myself to these people that do have, you know, that inner energy store. So, you know, almost this super battery, okay, or just a battery. So what it's helped me do is learn how to work best with my energy stores. So for me personally, you know, I work best in shorter bursts. So rather than, I am not designed to be a worker bee. I am not designed to work 9 till 5 or more hours than that. Other types can. I'm not designed for that at all. You know, the maximum I should be working is 4 hours a day, and then the rest of my day, you know, like studying and learning or whatever. But that has helped me so much, because it's really helped me rebalance my energy. And the more I work with my clients, because a lot of my ladies are already in this space of feeling burnt out, exhausted, I almost find that I need to kind of bring them to almost the projector level of working on self-care, working on releasing that exhaustion, so that they can then build themselves back up. And what I find now, I had to do a lot of resting and recuperating, which isn't, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do when you're wanting to run a business. You've got a child to look after, you know, it's not easy, but it does come down to choice. And what I've needed to do is kind of really take my foot off the pedal, you know, really put the brake on, so that then I could build my battery up, my energy store up. You know, I don't inherently have one, but I know how's best to work with it. What was I going to say then? And what I now find is that I can sort of, I don't need to rest as much as I did to start with, because I've now got a handle on, you know, what I need specifically, how I need to work, how I need to eat, you know, what I need to do before I go to sleep. Honestly, it is so interesting, I can't get that word out. So it's so interesting and so powerful. Just reading up about your human design. I've even done some more this morning before I came onto this live. So give that a shot, and, you know, fill out your chart, see what it is, and then come and talk to me, and we can just have a quick chat. We can run, as I say, we can run an energy audit if you'd like to, and just have a look at what we think is perhaps going, perhaps happening for you, so you can start putting these chunks of action into place. There was something else I was going to say about human design, and yeah, particularly if you're a projector. Because there are so many elements of being a projector that, you may read first off like, not inherently having an energy store to pull from, and the fact that we need to be invited into, we're very wise, we have a lot of wisdom to share, we have a lot of life experiences to share, but we also have to wait for invitation. Otherwise, again, we lose our energy. So we have to be invited into a conversation to share that. Otherwise, we can absolutely come across as bossy with what we're, saying. And it's all good intention, certainly what always was from my side. But you then hit closed doors and then you lose more energy. Okay, so it's all about this. It's so, so, so clever. So interesting. So have a think about filling out the human design link. Have a think about what you can do in terms of self-care, even if it is just 15 minutes a day. If you want to add more in, brilliant. I do it throughout the day. I do a sort of check every now and then throughout the day to just say, right, how do I feel physically? How do I feel emotionally? What do I need? I can sort of ask my body now what I need. If you're not quite in that space, then don't worry, that will come, and you can talk to me about that if you want to learn a bit more about that. But basically your body knows, the answer, and what we're doing really in modern society is just, we're just kind of trying to keep powering on through with that sort of hustle mode. We're almost leading with our mind as opposed to kind of checking in with the body as to how it's feeling, what's happening. I feel like I've gone off on a tangent again there slightly. But yeah, have a think about self-care. So I will do, for example, I'll do a morning routine. I will have, I'll check in to see if I need to lie down for 20 minutes at lunchtime. And then I will, do some sort of bedtime routine stuff. I will invariably have a bath, listen to an Audible book, because these are all the things that help me and I can build into my day. But for now, just think about one thing. Think about the best time that you can do that. And then, really start tuning in to how much better that is making you feel. Just 15 minutes. That is all, think about all the hours we're awake. And actually, it will potentially help you sleep better as well, because you're going to be putting in those points of rest. Stress hormones racing through us are going to disrupt our sleep. It's going to disrupt our immunity. It's going to disrupt our digestion. There's so much. So just have a think about that. Have a think about any limiting beliefs, particularly if you've been through any kind of trauma. If you haven't tried something that works with the subconscious mind so far, then there are likely to be, a fair few limiting beliefs that will be automatically in place for you, because the subconscious is all about keeping us safe. So, other therapies will help, but if you haven't got to the root cause, you are always going to be managing or coping with symptoms. There's no need. This is my whole mission, is to educate people that actually you can smash through suffering. There is no need to suffer. It is a case of, help is out there, but you just have to find the right thing. Okay. Good morning, Fran. Anyway, I will leave you guys with that. Do give me a shout if you are interested in any energy audits. Otherwise, or if you have any comments, then do drop me a line. Otherwise, I will let you have a wonderful Saturday, hopefully. Take care, and I will speak to you next week. All right, lots of love. Bye.